So to start off removing the center dash area and getting all the trim out of the way, we're actually going to begin back here at where there's a speaker. Now, we have the Sony system in our Raptor. If you have a regular F-150, you won't have a Sony speaker, but really it all comes apart the same way, so that isn't going to change much, and it's basically just pressure fitted in here. So you're going to have to pry on it a little bit to get it to pop up. Okay, there we go. You can see that there's just these 4 plastic clips on the back that hold it down. It's gonna feel like you're gonna break it when you pop it up, but it does have quite a bit of force that's needed to pry it out of there. So we've got that free. We'll set it off to the side. Now back here behind your speaker, you're gonna see that there's 2 little screws, and you can just use a little ratchet with a 7mm socket on there to get down into it. And then from there, we'll be able to lift it and kind of pry this thing out. Now from here, I like to typically kind of lift from the back, get it pried up. Then you're gonna want to take your body tool and pop the front clips up. So there's one on each side. Just like that. Then make sure to disconnect this little clip for your speaker wiring. And that's just a little pinch and pull. Get that out of the way. And then if you look at the bottom, you see there's the 3 pressure fit tabs that were holding it in. Comes out pretty simply. Now we can set that off to the side. Now with the dash tray out of the way, we're going to remove these 2 screws here holding this top trim piece that goes over the sync system. And this is going to be a 7mm as well. With those screws removed, now we need to bring this whole center piece forward, and it's going to be held in by some clips that are behind it. So you're going to have to kind of bend it, put some pressure on. It should just unclip. You can kind of work your way down. There we go. Now we've got that forward. There's going to be a couple connectors on the back here that we're going to have to get out of our way so we can get this apart. And I typically start at the top with these buttons. So with these ones, you're going to want to push on this little tab in the side of the clip as you pull it back, and it should just pop out. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get your fingernail in there to pinch it, but once you've got it pulled, then just a little bit of pressure will wiggle it back and get it free for you. Now down here, this big black clip is kind of a confusing one to try and undo, but you're gonna pinch at the bottom and then just pull out. So you can see at the bottom here, there's a little bit of a textured area. That's what you're pinching on to release the clip, and then it should just come free. Now this bigger connector is gonna have another little pinch section at the bottom. And you may have to give it a few little wiggles here to work it back. There we go. And it should just slide out of place. Now we can move this whole unit out of the way. Now to remove the main screen from your console, there's going to be 3 screws on each side of it. These are also going to be 7mm, so you can use the same ratchet, just add an extension to it to make it a little easier. And you want to be especially careful when you pull these out that you don't let them drop down, because they can actually slip down through here, back behind the dash, and it is very hard to get them back after that point. With all the screws out of the way, this thing is just going to pop forward, kind of gently lift it out, and then there's of course going to be a couple different connections on the back that we need to get rid of so we can get the screen all the way out of the way. So we'll start up here in the corner with this little blue plug. You're just going to pinch the bottom of it and pull back. Then we'll do the smaller black plug here. Now for this main multi-pin connector here, it's got kind of a weird latch system going on. You basically have to push down behind the gray latch and then slide that up, and it'll force this out of the connector. You can just lift it out of the way, and now we've got our screen free and clear. We need to remove our CD player from the bottom, and this has 4 screws, 2 on each side. We'll pull those out, and then we can slide this forward as well. Okay, with the screws out of the way, you can pull this forward. Now, at first, it's gonna not just slide out as easily as you might think, and it's because there's actually kind of a rubber section that slots in the back that puts some pressure on it. So you just have to give it a little bit more force, and it'll pop forward. We'll just slide it out here. And then we're gonna have some connections on the back. There's gonna be a multi-pin that we need to pinch and pop out from the corner. Then another one more towards the center. And then these two corner connections. There we go. Okay, perfect. So then looking at the back there, you can see this sort of rubber section that slots into the inside of the dash. That was what was giving us some pressure, but now this is all free and clear and we've got all of our wiring still in the truck, so we'll set this aside.